Boxing and MMA. It's been a very common subject on our show today, talking about Tyson Fury, Canelo Alvarez, and their subsequent possible fights in the future with MMA stars. Now, my question is boxing or MMA winning? And I'd like to dig a little bit into that. Is it winning? Well, if you ask yourself, are there bigger stars in boxing or in MMA? Well, it depends on who you ask. However, I would like to reference Brendan Schaub when he on his podcast talked a little bit about this. And if you didn't hear that, hear this. If you didn't know, that big night of boxing, that was the same night as the BMF title. I don't even know what boxing match it was because it was the BMF title, and this will prove the point. The main card of that boxing match was put on hold, and the BMF title was put up on a jumbotron and a jumbo screen in the stadium where the boxing match was being held, and the fans watched this UFC event. Wasn't even a title event. Let's be honest, 244 was not for a real title, and yet the boxing world stood at a standstill, waited for the UFC to be done. It was like no, you go ahead. No, sorry, you go ahead. You take our spotlight. You do what you need to do, and then we'll get our stuff out of the way when you're done. The question of is boxing or MMA winning is an ongoing discussion. I think we see a lot of change happening in the next year or two with Tyson Fury, possibly Canelo Alvarez, possibly with a Floyd Mayweather comeback. Who knows? A lot is happening. A lot is always happening in the fight world. But the big thing to realize is that MMA holds a different stature than boxing does. And what I mean by that is journeymen are very different in either sport. You don't have journeyman titles in boxing. You don't have MMA events put on hold because two boxers with double-digit losses are fighting. That doesn't happen. Whereas in the UFC, if you have a BMF in Nate Diaz with double-digit losses, a BMF in Jorge Masvidal, whatever it may be, these guys had 20-plus losses combined, and they put on hold a boxing match of two guys who are probably really close to undefeated. That's kind of how boxing works. When you are undefeated, you're close to 40-0, you're 30-0, you're 25-0, and you get giant fights. That undefeated bout, that huge boxing match was put on hold to watch two guys fight who have been in the league for years and have double-digit losses. I think the UFC runs away with this question, although there's a lot that's going to be changing, a lot that's going to be happening. Advantage UFC, they get their hand raised here for me at the end of the day.